Yeah, I've got some right. Got it. Okay. Now what happened to you? Where'd you go? There you are. Okay. Um, yeah, I've got some rank and rank going on, doing some hosting. Mostly what I've been doing for the past year and a half or so is web design. Well, actually, closer to closer to 4 years now. I was doing more lead gen and just gradually I was doing the thing where people taking the leads and then people get upset because they didn't think a lead was a lead, and people stopped paying me when they said they were going to, and
Mm-hmm.
the drill. You've been through it, so
Right.
I got tired of it and I started focusing on SEO. And my first major SEO client ended up getting screwed by the private label company I was using, so which I will keep silent about. And I ran into an old friend in your forum, as a matter of fact, the other day. I used to partner with um, Ryan McGarvey, and yeah, we used to do lead gen together. And I thought about, well, you know what? He's still doing it. A lot of other people are doing it.
Right.
This, this is where I want to be. Gives
Yeah.
me more predictable income. I'm not saying that I won't take on some SEO clients at some point, but
Right.
I'd much rather do the lead gen thing and
Yeah.
have a set contract like you're doing. Set amount per month.
Mm-hmm.
That other guy I was talking about online, Nick Wood, he does that too. $1,000 a month or whatever, and
Right.
X amount a month contract, and
Yeah.
knowing exactly how much I'm going to have coming in.
Right.
So
And
yeah.
so what questions do you have, or how can I help bridge the gap or help you go forward?
Okay. Well, the first one was landing pages and proper Google ad setup.
Okay, let me show you an example of the web page that we currently use now. I do not believe I have revealed this to the group. So this is,
Nothing here goes any further, man.
it's, this one's not too secretive, but let me first drop you the link. Let me just talk about a few of the elements here. Okay, so the first thing is we just put the company's name up top. Sometimes, but not always, we'll put, like, if it's a small service area, we'll put the service area so that those people know that they're at the right spot, that they don't have accidentally have a, a place in Tennessee or something.
Okay.
Um, Now, one thing I've updated since we did the course is we now do something called, we ask for a micro conversion, right?
Okay.
And I think I have a video on micro conversions. Right? We all know what a, so watch this later, okay? Don't watch this right now,
Okay.
but watch this later. It's in your messenger. Now here's what our ad landing page looks like. A micro conversion is where I'm just asking for something small. I'm not even saying yet, give me your pressure washing job. I'm not even saying yet, give me your name and phone number. All I'm going to ask for right away is, would you please watch our video? Right?
Okay.
That's the first thing. Watch our video below, then fill out the contact form and we'll get back to you. But I just want to ask for something small first. So I get them down in the video.
It's that time of year again. It's time to power wash your house. We know you have a lot to do. Ecotech Power Wash is here to help you with that list. No job is too big for Ecotech Power Wash. Whether it's power washing your siding to remove pollen and algae, washing away harmful bacteria that has stained your roof, or power washing your sidewalks and driveway, Ecotech Power Wash will do it all. Your to-do list is about to get a lot shorter. Ecotech Power Wash is licensed and insured and the company to call for all your power washing needs. Fill out the contact form below and receive your free estimate. You'll wish you had contacted them sooner.
All right, so a couple of elements that were in that video. For one thing, it's super cute, right?
Yeah.
And our target audience is women, so women love whiteboards, so we tend to go with whiteboards. But you saw how we showed, the to-do list shrinking.
Yeah.
We also even asked them right in the video, we said, hey, there's a contact form below. Go ahead and fill that out. So from the very start, we are walking them from here to here to here, right?
Okay.
So it's called micro conversions. Let's first ask them, watch the video, and then in the video, let's ask them to fill out the form. So we just have a few bullet points, nothing fancy. There's no wall of text here, just a little bit of, hey, why should you use us? But you see how easy that is to read, right?
Yeah.
There's no 7 paragraphs.
Yeah. A lot of white space too.
Yep. And then there's the phone number again and the form again. And that's
Okay.
the end of it. There's no header. We took that out. There's no footer. There's no menu. They can't go anywhere else on the website. What do you want them to do? Fill the form out.
Okay. The phone
Right.
number is clickable.
From a mobile phone, it is clickable. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's our landing page. Setting up the ad campaign, okay. What you want to do is you want to develop a process, right? So you may either want to have a Google Doc to have a process of the steps that you do, or a Google, or we have both, a Google Sheet where you're saying, hey, I need to get me or everyone on my team logins, right? That's the access part here. And then you say, hey, I need a video asset. Maybe it's from the client, or maybe I get an artist to write us a whiteboard video. And then I need to build the landing pages, right? And then I'll put the links to the landing pages here. And then I'll set up the settings, like I'll say, hey, you set up the campaign and the ad group, and you just tell it what are the hours, where are the ads going to show. That's the next column where you hop on a call with a client and you get as many zip codes out of them as you can. Okay, then you build the actual ads. You add the site link extensions, the call extensions. Do you already have your own niche? Like, do you have one niche you specialize in?
Well, now I've been working with roofers for a while, but that's not the best way to go, man. It's very expensive. So I was just going to test tree trimming, tree removal, and concrete to start.
I like concrete. That's a really good niche. Tree removal is also expensive leads. It's not super steady unless there's a storm that comes through.
Okay.
If you get a storm, you're set.
Yeah.
But in between storms, you can sometimes get complaints like they don't realize that people aren't thinking about trees unless there's a problem.
Okay.
And there's a
That makes
problem
sense.
after wind. After wind, they get 10x the leads. So you almost need to be partnering with tree guys that scale after a storm, that have people fly in from Oregon to work for them. And so your tree owner goes and sells jobs and then lets everyone else service them.
Okay. That's cool.
So
I'm from Oregon, so
okay, yeah.
Originally, yeah.
Yeah. And so you just need to have the right client there. But the reason I brought that up is if you have your own niche, you will know how to build a keyword list, right? So
Yeah.
here's how I build a keyword list. Okay. So this is niche specific for me, but I'll take my A-list keywords. And I'll run them through this generator. I'll send you a link to the generator. And I'll say, hey, if they type in, oops. If they type in pressure washer near me, power washer near me, pressure cleaning near me, I already know that's a good keyword, right?
Okay.
And then I'll have a B list. And what I'll do is a lot of these are good to go. See how near me is right there?
Yep.
Pressure washing professional, power washing company. All of those keywords are now in here, right?
Okay.
And I'll just modify this a little bit. So I do want the word county, but I also may want county names, right? I
Okay.
also want my state name, state abbreviation, major city, Washington, D.C., area terms, Northern Michigan, the gunks. And so if somebody types in pressure washing company near the gunks, right, which is a mountain range nearby here, I'm going to trigger an ad.
Okay.
And then the ad goes to that landing page, right? So that's how you build your keyword list. And so for your trade, you can use this. I'm making a copy of this so I can send it to you.
Okay.
Now this is so make a copy of that. Don't use that. Make a
Okay.
copy of it and then tweak it for your trade, like concrete company, concrete contractor. And then you can use that sheet every time you're building a keyword list.
Okay.
And if it's a new client, then all that's going to happen is your B list will be different, right? And then the
Okay.
next thing is you'll end up building a naked keyword list, right? So if somebody types in exterior cleaning services or something like that, or house washing near me, I want to trigger an ad.
So you are using phrase match.
I like phrase match, yes.
Okay.
That's the new version. That's what I like since we can't do broad match modified anymore.
Okay.
All right. So, however, deck cleaning services, I don't need 100 different variations, right?
Okay.
So I don't run it through the A/B list. That's why I call it naked. I just copy and paste these, and instead of putting it on the A list, which would give me 200 keywords, I just copy and paste it in, which will give me 10.
Okay.
And so the thing is, if you've done really good keyword research for concrete companies, you'll get things like stamped concrete. Maybe that'll be in your A list, or maybe it'll be in your naked list. And if it's in your naked list, then all you're doing is copying and paste it right in. So 10 keywords becomes 10 keywords. Whereas if you put it in the A list, 10 keywords could become 200 keywords if you have 20 in your B list.
I see. Yeah.
And so that's how I'm building my list. I have an A, I have a B, and then I have a naked, which does not get run through the tool.
Okay.
This is simply just a younger list, like we're about to start experimenting with these keywords. And so they're not proven yet, but we'd like to try them. And so that's why we just didn't mix them in here, but these are naked also.
Okay.
And that's it for building the positive keywords.
Okay.
Now, as far as building an ad, it's a little different. So with ads, they only do responsive search ads now. They don't let you do the old text-based ads. Okay.
Okay.
So you basically put in headlines, and it's going to mix and jumble them. Okay. And so
100%
it'll,
refund. 100% refund or die.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's just for you and me here.
Okay.
But you see right here, all of it's going to mix and match them.
Okay.
Okay. And so it's a little bit easier than it used to be because see, there's a lot of combinations. So Google's going to try a lot of different combinations, and they'll start leaning towards the one that works for people better, or leaning towards the 10 that work the best, and they'll
Okay.
start using them heavier and heavier. Then the second thing they'll start to do, if that person types in stamped concrete, they're more likely to make sure that stamped dyed concrete line is in the ad.
Okay.
And that's why they call it responsive. They want to respond to the ads, respond to what people typed in. In a similar way, you do, they max you out at 4 descriptions.
Now, the question I have here is if you're nailing down one specific type of service, would you keep this a separate campaign and only make a landing page for stamp dyed concrete?
I'm sorry, say that again.
That if you were trying, it would, if you were putting one, type of service in there, like stamp dyed concrete, would you create a landing page that was only for stamp dyed concrete?
Since stamped and dyed is very specific and it's also like much higher end, it's more expensive. I would probably have its own ad group.
Okay.
Right. So on the first ad group is just for people that type in concrete company, and they might just be looking for a patio or concrete deck or foundation to be poured, very
Okay.
traditional concrete stuff. And I might even put as a negative keyword stamp and dye,
Okay.
right? Or even stamp, stamped, dye, dyed, right? Negative keywords. So that ad group never even fires. And then I'd have an ad group that is all about stamped, dyed concrete. My keywords would be specific to that. Now, not everything needs its own ad group. However, if you're getting into concrete, I do believe it would benefit from stamp dyed concrete having its own ad group. Because when they're typing that in, because then you can also say, man, when people type that in, I don't really convert as well. You can get separate data.
Okay.
Or maybe the guy's willing to spend 3 times as much per lead because they're $50,000 jobs. So you can bid separately.
Okay.
So, and also show different ads, like you said, show a different landing page. And so you can have a separate ad group, and you can have probably like 15, 20 keywords in there instead of, and then the other one you have just more general concrete specific ones.
Okay. Or you could use the same landing page and just make sure that stamp dyed concrete was highlighted as one of the things.
You can, however, if you once you end up growing and you start getting, more and more concrete contractors, you probably would want to at least separate the ad group. It shouldn't take but
Okay.
another hour or 90 minutes of work to create an extra ad group.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Um,
good with that.
quick tip, if you do sell an AdWords client, you don't have to charge this much. I usually charge $3,500 for a setup fee, right? So you don't have to just say, hey, I will run. Now that's very high end. I've been doing it a long time. I have people like beating on my door. Maybe you can just say 1,500,
Okay.
right? Something reasonable, and you can get a setup fee.
Okay.
Right? And whatever you want to charge, some guys starting out charge like $350 a month to run the ads. I charge 500, but sometimes 750. I'm starting to trend towards 750, but I've also been doing it a while. So it's a great source of recurring income, and I've come to like it more than rank and rent.
Okay. So just to clarify what you just said, so if you're doing a 3,500 startup fee, are you paying for their ads out of that 3,500?
Oh, that's for me.
Okay, that's for you. So you would charge them 500 plus ad spend.
Yeah. So for instance, if I'm building the campaign in August and I sell it to him today, August 15, he would sign the contract. I would charge 3,500 to the card. As I build the campaign, I would add the card to Google AdWords, so that the ads can go directly on his card. And then September 1st, I would start charge him my first fee, which is $500 a month.
500 a month. Okay.
And so whatever and you may choose to do 350. I won't pick your price points for you, but 350 is nice and easy to close when you're just starting.
Okay.
Um, and until you gain like a lot of experience.
Okay.
And then so yeah, and then the first of the month I charge the credit card for the fees.
Okay.
And then the actual ads go right directly to his card.
Okay. Do you have an example of that contract by chance that you can share?
Hold on.
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of people
Hey
doing
Jen,
art.
tomorrow I need you to make me a generic version of our most recent proposal so I can share with a friend. Period. Send it to me and tell me this is for Joe Stewart to remind me. So, and I'm trying to, I know since we only have a half an hour, I know I'm covering a lot of things, but I'm trying to like get 6 hours worth of content into you best I can through highlights so that you have as much actionable intel as you can have.
I understand.
So the next thing I want to tell you is when you do set a proposal up, don't do it on the first call. Like on the first call, you're just exploring, you're talking about their business, and then say, okay, I'm going to look at your website. I know I already told you it's $350 a month. I do have a setup fee. Let me look into your website, do a little digging, and I'll have a proposal. Then meet with them 2 or 3 days later and you say, hey, here's my proposal. It's a one-time fee of 1,500, and here's what it includes.
Okay, so when you contact them the first time is to set up the appointment. Is that
The
correct?
first contact, you're like exploring and you're talking and you're bonding.
Okay.
And even you're
Okay.
showing value, you're showing how skilled you are.
Okay.
Right. By the end of the call, this guy should say, he really knows his stuff. I want him to work for me. And then on the second call is when you would close the deal.
Okay.
Yeah. And then eventually you can move higher ticket until people start saying no to your price.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for me?
As far as Google Ads, no. I was going to ask if you could show me a few examples of how you research areas for rank and rent sites. I know you did a little bit of that in the video. For whatever reason, I've found some that have competition where some people already have the EMDs. I watched a video of Matt Dignity recently, and he was talking about how he would do it, and he said he did. If the .com was taken, he wouldn't have a problem with using the .net or not .net or .org, and doing the same thing.
Right.
It's just I'm also kind of curious as to where I mean, like what the stats, I guess, because I've never used Majestic before,
Right.
and trying to figure out you know, what's worth going after, what's not worth going after. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm just I'm kind of playing the guessing game here.
Okay. I did a little audit here for someone just today. I charged the guy $500 and I said, I'm going to look at your area and I'll do an audit and I'll tell you where the map listings will go. So I'm a little bit less about, hey, what city should I be in versus, especially if the client will get me the address. Where instead of me rank and renting, I'm like charging him and then so I get my money up front. I'll say, hey, why don't you go and get an address here? And one of the ways I did it, let's see, your location is, okay, I showed him how far away he was from the city center. And I said, hey, buddy, I think you need to have a GMB a little closer to there. Right. And then what I also did was say, right, I pulled up the city, Lynchburg. I did pressure washing services, just a Google search. And I say, man, there's guys here, there's guys here, and there's guys here. But you have kind of an empty area right here and here. And this was where the population is, like you can see all the roads. So I said, well, let's get a GMB listing right here. And that was one option that I did. Right. And so I've got an area where I can get him some leads. The next thing I'll do, I'll go to energyjustice.net. They have a free demographics map. Uh-oh, wrong one.
So you're not targeting cities with a specific parameter on population or anything like that?
It used to be I would try to rank for the whole city, and now I'm more about the proximity within a city. And so if that's the case, because I'll have a client that's there, I prefer to get funded deals now. So I'll get a client first, and then I'll do a listing for him. And I'll say, let's not do one listing, let's do 2, 3, or 4. And it's a plan for him to expand.
And that's basically based on how far out they want to work, how far they want to travel.
Yeah. So for instance, he was right here. So I'll find an opportunity and I'm showing you how it was only 10 miles away from him. Okay, Lynchburg.
Okay.
So we zoom into Lynchburg and The blue is money, rich areas, and the red is poor areas. So I
Okay.
said, okay, well, I've got rich areas over here, and they do well with pressure washing. But then I said, but are there people there? You need money, people, or preferably both. So with this map, okay, there we go. Instead, I'll switch over into advanced mode and look at population density. And I'll say, hey, I do have some density over here that also matches with money. So I'll tell the client I've got money over here and also population density. And to give them a more specific, I'll say it's near the Harbor Inn seafood. I'd say if you can get me a GMB over there, I can do my thing. And so you're not just doing one Google listing form, you'll be doing anywhere from 2 to 4 based on like how much you can sell him and what his budget is.
You're asking him for addresses.
Mm-hmm. Friends, family, other businesses that don't mind.
Okay. That makes sense.
Someone expand. Okay, I had only slotted a half an hour. I have a call in literally 1 minute. Do you have any other questions that I can answer for you?
As far as rank and rent, real quick, is there anything you can recommend as far as SEO?
Be more specific.
As far as on page, on site, off site.
I did an on page video of what should be on the page, and we also talked about content silos. Have you watched those two?
No, I
Okay.
have not. So those are still relevant.
Yep. Oh,
Okay.
yep. Absolutely.
Okay. Cool. We'll watch those.
Okay. Yeah, that should be like video 7 and 8, something like that.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I will have my wife get this video to you tomorrow. Like we have to upload it to FileZilla or something like that.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.